of the F.
The fight against COVID, the U.S. averaging a record-shattering more than 400,000 cases per day now. This as millions of kids are heading back to school this morning. Our Trevor Ault is live at a school here in New York with the latest for us. Trevor, good morning.
Good morning, TJ. This is truly a unprecedented start to the year here with a record-shattering number of new infections, and that is impacting.
3 people are getting COVID every second. 3 new people are getting COVID every second right now. This shit is impossible to avoid, okay? The only certainties in life are no longer just death and taxes. It's also getting the Omicron variant of COVID, okay? Now, I'm not saying this to freak you the fuck out, because a lot of people are freaking the fuck out. How do you address people claiming that the CDC is suppressing data and scientists? What? There is no evidence for that whatsoever, okay? I don't know what the fuck to say to some weird shit like that. I don't think the CDC is suppressing evidence and scientists. Anyway, let's keep going.
Impacting hospitals, it's impacting businesses, and it especially is going to be impacting schools. The education secretary says schools around the country who are hoping to return to the classroom could very easily have 5–10% of their staff out sick with COVID to now start this new year. This morning, the new year is off to an unprecedented start with record-breaking levels of COVID infections across the country. Cases skyrocketing more than 200% in the past 2 weeks. On average, now more than 400,000 reported a day, more than ever before.
We are definitely in the middle of a very severe surge and uptick in cases.
The Omicron variant triggering explosive outbreaks in areas like Puerto Rico. New infections there increasing 4,490%. And hospitalizations, while lagging, are on the rise. Patient numbers in New York mirroring the levels of this time last year.
Are you concerned that the CDC is lowering the quarantine period to appease anti-vaxxers? I don't think they're doing that to appease anti-vaxxers. I think they're doing that to appease big business, as I've stated before. And I do believe that is going on. One of the insanely unacceptable things that the CDC did, other than, straight up reducing the quarantine period from 10 days to 5 without any new additional data available, without even making their data available as to how they arrived at that decision, and then openly admitting that they did it so that society does not collapse and that, businesses will continue to function, was the way that they said it, which was, if you get COVID for 5 days, after 5 days, you can go back to fucking work with no extra qualifiers. Like there wasn't a specific thing where you had to get 2 negative PCR tests. You know what I mean? Now the CDC is going back on that and potentially adding that 2 negative test results before you're able to go back into public after 5 days. I guess restriction, right? But the issue is, it's too fucking late. Okay, you already came out of the gate swinging, and you said 5 days instead of 10, and you didn't even fucking require negative testing. And as a matter of fact, even went so far as to say you might still be showing positive on tests, but you're probably not as you're probably not spreading COVID anymore. There are a couple issues here. Okay. One, if 100% of the population was already vaxxed up with COVID, okay, if 100% of the population was vaxxed up with the COVID vaccines, right, then it doesn't matter. Yeah, get COVID, get Omicron, whatever the fuck, you're fine. You're gonna be fine. You're not gonna die. You're not gonna fucking go to the hospital. You're gonna be out for like 2 days, 3 days, right? You're going to be out for 2 days. You're going to feel bad. You're not going to have your taste, but you're going to recover. It's going to be similar to the seasonal flu. As a matter of fact, it's going to be, as I've said before, most likely less deadly than the seasonal flu. However, we don't live in that world. We don't live in a country where there's like a reasonable amount of people that are fucking vaccinated. Double vaccinated, boosted up. We don't live in that world, motherfucker. We live on a planet. We live on a continent. We live in a country where homies are straight up like, yeah, no, I'm just not getting vaccinated still. I'm not going to do it. You can't make me do it. You can't make me do it. I will not get vaccinated. So if you're that guy, one, the likelihood that COVID doesn't escape your body or leave your body in the immediate 5 days or 3 days or whatever the recovery period is, obviously increases. Okay. So if you are unvaccinated, you're fucking up the whole game for the rest of us.
XQCL.
Okay. At this stage, if you're unvaccinated, you're not only not protecting yourself, but you're also the reason why we have to implement these fucking rigorous lockdown measures. If we lived in a country where everyone was vaccinated, I would be advocating first and foremost, like I did originally when the vaccines first came out, as like a full-blown open up the economy, I'm trying to suck on doorknobs type beat. Okay, that's what my advocacy would be in. Be a fucking anti-masker. But because we're not there, because we are never going to get there, unfortunately, we have to take more restrictive measures. Okay? Now, the real fear that I have, even though Antonio Fauci is personally considering implement, or not personally, but the CDC is considering implementing 5-day testing measures on top of the lowered quarantine restrictions. I guess improving the quarantine restrictions a little bit by saying you at least have to get tested. But the reason why they didn't do that originally, my fear, my speculation is because there aren't fucking tests. Okay? Because as is the case with every single step of this goddamn pandemic or bandemic, whatever you want to fucking call it, we have consistently fallen short on what is necessary. We just don't have tests. So what are you going to do? You don't have a test. You can't get tested. So what's up? You're not going to get back to work? No, of course. They want you to get the fuck back to work because the ultimate goal is get the fuck back to work.
Hasanabi.
And I believe that's the real reason why they after lowering it to 5 days, they didn't actually fucking qualify that by stating you can only get out in public in 5 days after you tested negative. Okay?
The real bottom line that you want to be concerned about is, are we getting protected by the vaccines from severe disease leading to hospitalization?
Dr. Fauci says the CDC may now update some of its new guidance, potentially recommending people with asymptomatic infections and no fever get a negative test before ending their isolation at 5 days. And there's growing concern for children.
Why is there growing concern for children? Because more children than ever before are showing up in hospitals now. Why are they showing up in hospitals? Because they are the highest unvaccinated population. So because they're the highest unvaccinated population, now the number is still, insignificant in comparison to like who's actually dying from COVID. But given that we do not know the long-term results of getting COVID, the likelihood that you could get long COVID, the likelihood that, it could have debilitating problems down the line, even including like losing IQ points with brain fog and shit like that over the course of COVID, like it has created a situation where kids are also at risk. Okay? Babies are getting fucking COVID. How are you going to deal with that? How do you know what kind of negative consequence that's going to have on your child? Huh. Can't believe the kids are anti-vax. People pago. Yeah, no, it's a little fucking dumbass baby who's like, I don't want to get this vaccine. Goo goo gaga, motherfucker.
Last week, the nation reported a 66% increase in children admitted to the hospital because of COVID-like symptoms. This morning, the FDA now authorizing booster shots for 12 to 15-year-olds. But the youngest kids, still fully unvaccinated, are still at risk.
The high fevers came in waves. She just laid on me basically for 3 days straight.
Thank you, Hassan.
Sarah Barlow's 2-year-old daughter tested positive and spent 4 days in the hospital.
Minor F. F is incoming. F is going. there's always going to be a 1% drop of frames, okay? We're now, you know,
CDCDs.
it's just going to happen. I'll pause the video when it happens and I'll continue. It's just like click, 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 couple F's in succession, and then we move on, okay? Don't cry about it. Let's keep going.
It can get bad. It's not just a simple cold for everybody.
And now America's schools are weighing whether to reopen. Dozens of colleges are already gearing up to start their semesters online. Atlanta public schools are switching to online-only classes this week. But in New York City, about 1 million students are expected to be back in person with new COVID safety measures.
We lost almost 2 years of education. We can't do it again.
And all that demand for testing.
So we need tests. We need tests. We need to have as many tests as possible so we can figure out who the fuck has COVID. But we don't have enough tests. We need tests to be able to get back to work. We need tests to be able to figure out if we should quarantine. And the CDC's decision reflects that need, reflects that reality. And this 5-day quarantine shit straight up reeks of don't wear masks, okay? Like they did in the beginning of the pandemic. Remember when the CDC said, oh yeah, don't wear a mask, it's not that important. Masks don't actually provide coverage. And then they came out and were like, actually, we had to lie to you about the mask thing because, you know, we needed PPO for, we needed protective gear for our nurses and for our healthcare folks. You know what I mean? Our folks in healthcare. And I feel like we're literally a PPE, sorry. I feel like we're literally doing that right now because there's not enough tests out there. How are you going to fucking rip the rest of the fucking planet? Exhaust all natural resources, exploit and extract all natural resources from the third world, do imperialism, and then you still can't fucking, you know, you still can't offer tests to the American public in a time of need. What's up, dude? How are you not going to do that? How are you not going to be able to do that? Shit's like fucking falling apart. Okay?
Let's go.
And for the record, there is that negative consequence that we saw of the CDC saying, yeah, you don't have to wear a mask, right? Remember? The conservatives never gave that up. They talked about it non-fucking stop. As a matter of fact, they talk about it to this day. Remember when Dr. Anthony Fauci said, don't wear a mask? And then they wanted you to wear a mask? Well, why would I wear a mask if they can't even figure it out? When I originally criticized the CDC's decision to basically change the quarantine restrictions without any new evidence, without any new data, that other epidemiologists were upset about outside of the CDC. This was one of my main concerns. Obviously, my primary concern was now COVID is going to spread even fucking harder at a time when Omicron is just ripping through the country. And my second concern was that this would greatly undermine the authority of the CDC, which is why I always got fucking annoyed when people were just trying to state that I was doing conspiracy theories about the CDC. Guess what? I was fucking right. Look at Ben Shabibo. Ben Shapiro, who is, of course, a misinformation agent himself, had this to say about the CDC's decision. Where is it? Twitchy team caught a good Twitter thread from... Wait, hold on. I'm I don't want to free scroll on Twitter. Where is it? Ben also said that the CDC is... So the vaccine only works against the virus that the vaccinated people are transmitting. I'm so confused. Yeah, you are confused because you're a fucking idiot. Okay, Fauci says vaccinated and boosted people could do things like go outside restaurants if they know people around them are also vaccinated and boosted. Yeah, this is like There is a failure to communicate the problem here. There's a failure in communication. And Antonio Fauci's only job is to quite literally communicate this shit, okay?
Let's go.
Oh, here it is. Here, this is what I was going to say. So yesterday, Ben Shapiro tweeted this out. When the U.S. is considering adding a negative test to its 5-day isolation guidance for people with asymptomatic COVID-19, the White House's top medical advisor says, Dr. Anthony Fauci says, the CDC got significant pushback on its recommendation last week. I was fucking right. Everyone else, once again, that shit on me for fucking negative engagement farming was completely fucking wrong. Suck my dick, everybody else, okay? Here it is. Here's a one fuck you, and here's another fuck you. Suck it, okay? Double suck me. Suck me from the front and also from the back. Now, that's unimportant, obviously, in the grand scheme of things. What's actually important with respect to this fucking story is that obviously this kind of change,
Thanks for
okay?
unlocking the leftist
Obviously,
in me.
this kind of change in the CDC's rhetoric, when their main goal is to set these guidelines and communicate them effectively, is that this kind of misinformation will be utilized by people like Ben Shapiro to further cause chaos and to further undermine its credibility. And that's precisely what he's doing here. Amazing how quickly the science changes. Miraculous how fast new data pours in. No wonder only the experts, trademark, can understand it. Probably it's totally apolitical and has nothing to do with the public pressure from the administration's leftist allies. So what this moron, what this baboon is admitting / also failing to consider is that, yes, there is a level of public pressure that they are influenced by. Okay? It's about who they're getting that pressure from, though. And if this dumbass does not comprehend that, like, the original decision to lower it is pressure from the business owners and those who are titans of commerce, then I don't know what to tell you. That is precisely what is going on here. The original decision, as admitted by Fauci, was to make sure that commerce continues, to make sure that society functions, because there weren't going to be enough pilots, there weren't going to be enough hostesses, there weren't going to be enough waitresses, there weren't going to be enough retail workers during the holiday season, and God forbid that happens in a country like the United States of America. Then, you know, full-blown economic collapse, boys. Because of the way that Omicron was spreading, because of how fast Omicron was spreading.
9 months with perfection. Here's to a mil more.
And that's the reason why they went fucking balls to the wall and didn't even include a negative test in their original lowering of the quarantine restrictions.
Hassle.
So while Ben Shapiro is technically right in the sense that, yes, some of these decisions are made by outside influences, and it's not necessarily, it's more like a balance. It's a delicate balancing act between what the public's perception is going to be, how much they actually follow the restrictions that are placed by the CDC, and also where the stress is coming from. So if the public is not following the protocols, they're like, well, maybe we should lower them so that they will actually follow the protocols, which is idiotic in my opinion. Okay? Because that's precisely what they said, by the way. This is not my take. This is the CDC's own narrative on this issue. They said they did this because not because there was new data available, there wasn't, but because, one, the public was not following 5-day or 10-day quarantine measures anyway, because it was far too long for them. So the public stress is there. And also because Omicron was ripping through the fucking lands. And when Omicron is spreading so rapidly, and if you're vaccinated, it has less likelihood of fucking you over. It's less severe, 50% less hospitalizations, at least according to data coming out of the UK. That it's not necessary to quarantine for as long, especially because if you are asymptomatic and vaccinated, the likelihood that you're going to continue spreading it in the aftermath of 5 days is lower. Okay?
F.
So, having said all that, That's the reason why they made this, because of additional public pressure from, you know, obviously business owners. Yes, I know there's an F. I am aware. There's public pressure from those who are... Oh, shit. Okay, dude. There's no shot. This is exclusively... Hold on. Also a GPU bug. Don't know.
Come to Brazil.
I just... Motherfucking didn't DDU clean drivers? I did all of that. Shut the fuck up. I did all of it. I did all of it. I did all the drivers. Don't talk to me about this shit, okay? Please stop. I straight up fucking did everything that you guys are ever going to suggest. Please stop. Okay? Also, Dr. Jordan Peterson has some fucking, you know, doctor shit to discuss that we'll get to in a second. Anyway.
Sparkling hot.
As I was stating, however, like I said, as I was stating, that we are at a point where the CDC, in my opinion, fucked up, like they did originally, like Fauci did originally about mask wearing. Okay, and that this will be used against them by misinformation agents and those who want to fucking further undermine the CDC's credibility beyond what they are doing to themselves. Okay. These are uncertain times, but the only certainty is that you're probably going to get fucking COVID if you go outside. You're probably going to get Omicron, but also most likely if you're boosted, if you're vaccinated, if you're double vaxxed, it's not going to be as bad as the prior versions of COVID. The only other certainty similar to that is the top of the hour ad break that comes at the top of the hour. A 60-second ad break that is unavoidable unless you have already subscribed for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime, or if you got gifted a sub. Gifted subs, unfortunately, are inconsistent, though. You know, you might not get it. Like antibodies. You might not get the gifted sub. You might not get lucky. People will be gifting it, but you might not be the one who receives it. So the certainty is with a $5 subscription or a Twitch Prime, which is free. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. I'm double vaxxed, no booster, and this variant is a pain in the ass. At least I'm not hospitalized right now.
Now, in many instances, slow down the wait for your results. One of the nation's largest testing companies, Quest Diagnostics, tells ABC that their average processing time has gone.
What do you say to people who go, I'm following guidelines, I stay socially distanced and take the consequences for not taking the vaccine, but I won't take the vaccine because I'm not afraid of dying? Umbrella 6, thank you for the 5 of subs. I don't fucking know, man. Then die. That's what you say. Then die, dumbass. Okay? Then if you get COVID, I'm not going to fucking mourn you. And I'm going to make fun of you, actually, for dying on your own. Like, you wanted to die so bad, and now you're fucking dead. Or worse, you're in the fucking hospital. And you're not dead yet. I'm going to fucking sit there, and I'm going to shoot a TikTok video literally doing the Fortnite L dance over your fucking dying body, okay? As a team of nurses try to, you know, make sure that you don't get bed sores from laying on one side. I'm going to be waiting for that fucking shift change so that I can get the right moment so I can do a fucking, you know, L nerd dance, okay? I'm going to do a TikTok dance over your fucking dying body. That's what you should tell people. And then they'll fucking cry and they'll be like, what do you mean? That's kind of fucked up. And then, you know, you turn around and you say, okay, well then avoid it, dumbass. Okay? If You don't want me to fucking TikTok dance over your dying body at the hospital when you got a fucking vent inside of your throat, okay? Then get the vaccine. It's like there's nothing you can do. You're talking to a brick wall. You're talking to someone who's like, I understand that death is a possibility and I do not care. If you are not afraid of dying, then you should not care that I'm going to make fun of you when you die, okay? It's really simple. Don't fucking die, okay? Vented patients are unconscious. Yes, but while the person you're talking to has the processing power of a vegetable, their brain is supposed to understand that, like, before they get vented, you know, you'll still make fun of them. So right now, I suspect the person you're talking to, having a conversation, is not vented yet, and they're not unconscious yet. So they'll understand that anger and that fear of resentment and that, you're emotionally manipulating them into getting the vaccine is basically what I'm saying. Okay? Went golfing with my conservative unvaxxed friend Friday, and he didn't tell me that his girlfriend that he lives with tested positive 3 days prior. We drove together, and he didn't wear a mask in the car. I'm beyond pissed, and I don't know if I can keep being his friend, to be honest. Yeah, that shit is really fucked up. I mean, it's like completely unacceptable, dude. That's like
4 months, baby, I'm back.
Fat and old people are it's fat and old people that are dying. You should stop scaremongering. Dude, you are most likely fucking fat. Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up. There's like 3 skinny conservatives, and every conservative anti-vaxxer acts like they're literally like 6% body fat, shredded the fuck up. You're fat, okay? You're an American. Automatically, I suspect you probably have comorbidities because of your unhealthy fucking diet, and you're probably fat too on top of that. Shut the fuck up, okay? It's like, it's ridiculous that we are still making these stupid fucking arguments.
Hi, Hassie.
Motherfuckers be like, oh, fat people are dying. I'm like, have you looked around? You live in like Oklahoma, dog. Now, there are obviously systemic issues that we need to conquer to be able to fucking fix America's diets, but that's a long-term solution. That's not easy to fucking deal with right now. So in the short term, before we fix that long-term problem, maybe we should focus on areas where, I don't know, we could save fat and old people from fucking dying. I think that's a good way to go about it. I'm fat. My entire fucking family's fat. I don't want them to die. So we're all unvaccinated. Shut the fuck up.
Love you, chat. Stay healthy.
You wear nail polish, Goofy. Okay. Your mom likes it. I don't know why you have a problem with it. Don't make me ground you for potentially thinking that gender norms are so fucking rigid.
The internet is a downer. Glad to be here less than 3.
Didn't we just watch Mia Malkova talk about how she wants to fuck me? What's going on here, dude? Like, why do fucking idiotic, sexless weirdos on the fucking internet come in here and go, oh my God, you got fucking nail polish, Goofy? Yeah, even with the nail polish, it seems like, I don't know, a porn star that you jerk off to every night still wants to have sex with me. So maybe you should reorient your priorities, okay? Maybe you should do a little bit of self-examination. Maybe it's not that significant to have fucking nail polish. It's not that big of a deal.
I have COVID. Am I allowed in here, Has?
I'm not the father. I'm not the stepfather. I'm the father that stepped up. Anyway. Goofy. Nothing more manly than being fucking terrified of your of the way that you will be perceived. You know? Nothing more manly than just genuinely being scared of how others will perceive you. They'll think you're gay. Oh no. God forbid, if you have fucking painted nails, people are going to be like, are you gay? Like, there's something wrong with that, too. That's like another stupid thing. Anyway. Oh, here's another quick F. Brief F here.
Bing bong thong.
And we're back. Okay, now it's doing that AMD software problem as well. Bro, this didn't happen. I literally
Cheers.
I literally fucking ran tests for hours, like 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, okay? Application name, Radeon software, EXE, failed. No, that's earlier. Yeah, the driver, display driver, AMD, WDDMG, stopped responding and has successfully recovered. This is like, it's wild to me that I ran diagnostics for like hours and hours and hours and none of these issues came up. And of course, the moment that I fucking start streaming, because I was doing a broadcast like bandwidth test.
"10 months, let's go."
Anyway. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Gone from about 1 day to now 2 or 3 days. And with Omicron's transmissibility, that extra wait time can make a big difference. TJ?
All right, Trevor, all for
The drop frames are causing driver crash, not the other way around. Maybe. That would be really weird, though. Okay, let's move on.
CBS News.
This one is Dr. David Agus on Omicron spread, CDC guidelines, and boosters for kids.
Dr. David Agus joins us now to bring us up to date on all the latest COVID stuff. I want to pick it up, David, with where Meg just left off, that they did not require a negative test after 5 days of isolation. That struck a lot of people as not making any sense. Did it make sense to you?
Certainly, if we had the resources and the ability, I think a negative test at 5 days makes all the sense in the world. When you look at the data, it takes about 7 days till most people start to test negative, and some even longer. So having that negative test is a way to stop the virus. The problem is we are still limited with testing in this country.
But I also heard the CDC say that sometimes you can test positive even though you're no longer emitting any of the, you can test positive although you're no longer dangerous. And that's why they said, listen, you don't, after 5 days, you're okay. It was very confusing.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't, you're right, there is an issue, is that the test looks for 30 letters, the 30,000 letters of the code. And you could see that in viral fragments. So you may test positive even though you're not infectious. And we've seen people test positive several weeks out without being infected. So it's not, a simple answer. Certainly, if you test negative at 5 days, it is safe for you to go out with a mask over the next 5 days. Yes.
This is the main point, is that if you test negative in the first 5 days, okay, especially if you get a double negative test, then you're fine, okay? And a lot of vaccinated people are reporting both feeling fine and even showing negative on tests, okay? But ultimately, if you release that, if you change the restrictions, the parameters of what the quarantine is supposed to look like in a country where there's still a fuckload of unvaccinated people, okay, then everyone's gonna be like, all right, I'm good after 5 days. Fuck it, let's go, YOLO. Especially when you don't specify that you have to test negative to get out of quarantine. Wildly irresponsible.
The real question are the others. We need more testing. Testing needs to increase across the country to be able to stop the spread of the virus.
Let's talk about the kids going back to school, because schools really seem to be trying to figure this out. Do you think it's safe for children to go back into the class today?
I think we're going to have to, we have to have in-person learning. And what we need is, again, more testing in the school. So testing should be mandated in schools. And if you test negative, you can go to school. I think that's the way we should be doing things. And much of the world is doing that, particularly in the European countries. And you have to have a mask mandate when numbers are up, like they are in most of the country with Omicron.
Now let's talk about the number of Omicron cases. We keep hearing the numbers are very scary, David. You hear 300,000 that they've topped. We keep hearing it hasn't even hit the peak yet. Should we be focusing on the number of cases or the number of hospitalizations? How scared should we be about this number?
I think you hit it, Gail. I mean, we had 500,000 cases in a day over the last few days. And so hospitalizations are what matter. If you look at a state like Maryland that has one of the highest vaccination rates, they're at the highest rate of hospitalization they've been in throughout the almost 2 years of the pandemic. So there are places now where particularly unvaccinated individuals with this rapid spread of Omicron are basically filling up hospitals. We're canceling elective procedures in much of Los Angeles. I've had patients, cancer patients, where their surgeries for cancer have all been canceled over the last week and going forward because hospitals are being filled up. And what we need to focus on is that number, because that is what's limiting our society in many respects. And so Omicron will spread. We're going to peak over the next several weeks, particularly in areas that had an early onset of Omicron, and then it'll go down afterwards. But over the next several weeks, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, we're at the fucking total GG boys. It's a wrap stage of the pandemic more than before. No. Obviously, we were already at the fucking GG no re stage from the jump. Like, we were like, fuck it, we'll be fine. When we didn't have enough masks, enough protective gear, we were like, fuck it, COVID will go away. Just fucking sit at home for 14 days stage in the beginning of the pandemic. And like throughout the entire pandemic, we've seen time and time again. We're like, fuck it, it'll be all right. 100,000 other people die. And then we're like, oh man, that was really bad. Okay. That was really bad. All right, well, what about now? And then the pandemic keeps like throwing new hurdles in front of us, and we just keep saying, fuck it. Now we've officially gotten to a point where even the CDC is like, yeah, it's all right. You know? We just don't have enough tests. Boys, we do not have enough tests. Okay? Too many people got COVID. We do not have enough tests. We are doing what the UK oi bruvs did originally when Boris Johnson famously came out and said, we're going to take it on the fucking chinny, bruv. Yes. That's right. We're going to be taking it on the chin. I'm Boris Johnson, and COVID has won, and that's the point we're at now. Fucking awesome. You know, great.
Any Mexicans in chat?
What a throw! What a giant throw!
Now, millions of American children are returning to school this morning in the face of a high jump in new COVID cases across much of the country. Most schools are doing in-person classes, but some school districts are teaching remotely. The number of new cases reported in the U.S. last week hit an all-time high. Nearly 500,000 in one day. Meg Oliver is in Paterson, New Jersey, where students are staying home. Meg, good morning.
Meg, good morning. Paterson is one of several New Jersey school districts opting for a remote start this winter. While they are firmly in the minority right now, some teachers unions are hoping that their districts follow suit, especially in hard-hit cities like New York.
The Omicron outbreak shows no signs of slowing down in New York City. New cases jumped 218% in just 2 weeks. Hospitalizations up 148%. To keep schools open, the city is sending an additional 2 million test kits into schools and doubling the number of students tested each week. But the teachers union is asking for in-person learning to be put on pause. And teachers like Camille Eterno are
Dude, fuck the media. Literal clickbait Andy's freaking the public out 24/7. Dude, what do you want? Do you want the media to like... Dude, there are 400,000 people, like new people getting COVID every day. Okay? Or some fucking insane number now. Do you think that that's not newsworthy? Like, I don't understand. What are they supposed to fucking say?
What is your favorite line?
You are very negative. You're right. I should be excited and acting like it's not a big deal, dude. You know? I don't understand why you guys are freaking out, dude. We got 400,000 cases of COVID on our 7-day average currently. Why are you guys freaking out? That's so dumb, dude. Just don't freak out and it'll go away. Close your fucking eyes. Close your eyes, go la 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 la, I can't hear you, I can't see you, and it'll go away. Just be positive, forehead.
Good morning. Take your vitamins since COVID is an inevitability.
What are y'all fucking nuts, dude? Are you stupid? Are you crazy? Bro, look at this. That's just new cases, right? The 7-day average for new cases right now is 413. the 413,000, right? Death numbers obviously have the death numbers are obviously not as high, luckily, okay, because of vaccines, by the way, because at least like more than half the population was smart enough to get fucking vaccinated. But can you imagine if we still had no vaccines right now at this stage? We would be getting shredded, dude. We would be getting fucking obliterated. Oh, effing. It's effing again. Little baby F again. Wheezy F baby.
Where are the crystal mammoths?
Look at that. 7-day average is 1,350, dude. Now, in comparison to last year's spike, remember, the last year's holiday season was fucking destroying the country because we didn't have vaccines yet. Okay? Last year's holiday season destroyed the country when we didn't have vaccines yet. We had 2,600, so we have half the number of deaths now. Okay? But it's weird to basically say, you know, yeah, there is an asteroid coming, but you shouldn't look up. Just don't look up. Don't be negative about it. You know, just act like it's not there and it won't impact you. It won't hurt you. Oh, here's the interactive map with the current COVID cases. Fucking hate this. The New York Times, just like stop paywalling this shit. Oh my God, it's so annoying. Oh, this map doesn't load because, you know, I have to stop it from getting to the paywall.
Hassle.
The vaccine is killing people too. Let's not forget that. Wait, you're fucking joking, right? I mean, you are, I assume. The vaccine is not killing people. The only place where the vaccine is killing people is in Facebook posts, okay? It's not a real thing. Excited for Trump to be reelected so we can get over this junk? Yeah, totally. Trump is going to destroy COVID, dude. He's going to destroy it by, again, doing exactly what you want people to do, which is stop focusing on it, which you're wrong. The media is going to be extra annoying about COVID when Trump is president because it's an administration that they despise on top of everything else.
Have it any other way.
So the only thing you'll hear about is COVID for a very long time if Trump becomes president again. We live in a country where 2/3 of the Republicans, according to one of the latest studies conducted, 2/3 of the Republicans believe that the American democracy is falling apart because the election was stolen. Okay? 2/3. It's over. There's no way to manage that. Okay? There's no way to fucking figure out like how to reach out to the other side and like, you know, have this robust and wonderful debate with them to personally change their minds. People have made up their fucking minds. They do not give a fuck. If they are met with facts, then they could just go, nope, I don't care, turn around and desperately seek out alternative sets of facts that they can easily get from Facebook and other places. And that's what's going to keep happening. It's like 2/3 of Republicans, dude. That's nuts.
Oh no, another drama day? Sag.
What's your opinion on snowbirds traveling to Florida this year? I don't know what that means. Are you saying snowbirds like, you know, people from not Florida, people from like the East Coast coming? Biden stroke?
16 months of surviving COVID, let's go. Also the CDC said I can deep throat a cactus.
Wait, what is this? President Biden? Biden?
Here's some historical context. 50 years ago, ranchers got over 60 cents for every dollar a family spent on beef. Today, they get about 39 cents. 50 years ago, hog farmers got 40 to 50 cents for each dollar they spent. Today, it's about 19 cents. And the big companies are making massive profits. While their profits go up, the prices you see at the grocery stores go up commensurate.
I need to go
The
touch
prices
some
farmers
grass.
receive for the products they are bringing to market go down. This reflects the market being distorted by lack of competition.
This is 100% correct, by the way. He's not wrong about this. We covered this story, even though vegans that make up 4% of the audience were upset about it. But even when we covered it, there is a severe monopolization in, or there's a centralization of power within the poultry and meat industry in general, where the people that actually end up buying, like the buyers are, the buyers markets basically have become monopolized. Like very few people that can engage in price leadership get to dictate how little they can pay for the farmers that are, raising the cows and shit.
Can't believe America.
He's completely right about that, for sure.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Capitalism without competition isn't capitalism, it's exploitation.
Oh yeah, yeah, guys. That's not real capitalism, dude. When you're like when you hit him with that's not real capitalism. Real capitalism hasn't been tried. I love that we make people loved making that joke against like fucking theory nerds and shit. Okay. But also that is real capitalism. Capitalism.
Thanks for all
capitalism without any sort of fucking government restriction is still real capitalism. That's for capital owners utilizing the government and engaging in rent-seeking behavior and monopolizing every sector is just using, still doing exactly what capital owners would like to do, which is to increase the profit motive. Why the fuck would they not do that? You can't say it's corporatism or whatever the fuck, but it's still capitalism. The entire point of difference here is that commodity production has not changed in any capacity. Commodity production is still exactly the same. Whether you want to call it corporatism or cronyism, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's still exactly, precisely the fucking same. Okay? Capitalism without exploitation is not a real thing. It's not a real concept. Whether you mean the Marxist understanding of exploitation or even the colloquial understanding of exploitation, under capitalism, there's always going to be exploitation, no matter what. It's kind of the main thing. The reality is that, capital owners, capital owners justify that exploitation. They say, no, of course we're going to get the fucking profits. Why? Because meritocracy is real. We worked hard and we played hard, and that's how we got here. And also, too, because, hey, we assume the risk. 80% of businesses fail. We assume the risk. So, therefore, we have to realize some of those rewards. A mixed market economy, or rather a social democracy, simply uses the government to rein in the unfettered capitalist behavior.
Boys and girls into NBS.
Okay? That's what it seeks to do. And some Marxists believe, or most Marxists rather, believe that a welfare state like that is actually created to extend capitalism, to make sure that it continues regardless of the natural boom-bust cycle. All of this, of course, is, yes, done at the expense of the global south, obviously. So, it's like when the left says real communism has not yet been tried. If you can point to an example of a fucking stateless, borderless, moneyless society, then yeah, I'll gladly take the fucking L on that, dude. Like, people say real communism hasn't been tried, but like, there has never been a moneyless, stateless, borderless, classless society. That's never been realized. It's like supposed to be an end state that we've never achieved or arrived at. It's the only time it's happened is Star Trek, okay? Whereas commodity production, or you can make the argument that like real socialism hasn't been tried or whatever, okay? That's a more reasonable assertion. That's one that you can actually, you know, point to. There's tangible examples of socialism being tried, and there's many failures of it, okay?
10 months, let's go Brandon Pogo.
But yeah, the communist concept is idiotic. It's just like it's never been a thing ever, unless, you know, there's something has happened and I was unaware of it. Okay. So,
ratio time.
Chatter's White actually communes in Mendo. Yeah. Bro, that F was so small I didn't even fucking notice it. Chill.
At Hasanabi, we should do a poll to see how many chatters have COVID. Rip.
What about the caveman? Serious question. What you're talking about is primitive communism. Okay? And that, you know, that doesn't matter at all. We're in a post-industrial age era, so it's just like unrelated to the equation or conversation in any meaningful capacity now. Anyway.
That's what we're seeing in meat and poultry and those industries. Capitalism without competition isn't capitalism. It's exploitation.
So this is great, okay? Like as far as like pushing the needle rhetorically towards a social democracy that is still capitalist. But the reality is,
that's what we're,
as far as what we've seen from the Joe Biden administration, they have no interest in beefing up our welfare programs or social safety nets in any meaningful capacity. So it's just, once again, nothing but this, okay? As all this is. And even on the front of this, even on this side, even when we're talking about just simply talking, even those empty words don't make a whole lot of sense. Because capitalism without competition is just exploitation is idiotic. Exploitation occurs even when there is competition.
We're seeing in meat and poultry and those industries now. Small independent farmers and ranchers are being driven out of business, sometimes.
I agree with you. Why does every book call the Soviet communist state then, and if it has not yet been tried? I mean, the Chinese Communist Party calls itself communist as well. The Cuban Party is also a communist party, but in its I mean, they readily admit that this is a final state that they try to achieve, and that they're in a transitional socialist state for the most part. That's what the fuck that is. The Chinese Communist Party readily admits that they themselves are not in a communist country. They are not a communist country at all. That they are simply a communist party trying to achieve a communist state, and trying to achieve that communist state through a sequence of, I would even go so far as say, social democratic reforms for the most part. That's what that is. And when there is global capitalism, as we all know, we live in a capitalist planet. Okay, communism lost. We live in a capitalist planet. Within that infrastructure, it is impossible to just like set up an autonomous commune. Okay, that is going to be communist in and of itself.
He said he's funny. Allah help me.
Okay, you can't have like a self-reliant, sustainable communist nation in one part of the fucking planet. It's never going to happen. That will never happen. The Amish do it? Yeah, okay, bro. Anyways,
businesses that have been around for generations. It strikes at their dignity, their respect, and the family legacies so many of them carried for generations after generation.
The only place where communism has been sustainably achieved is Revachol, okay? And then the international community, the moralists, got together and, you know, invaded in an incredibly bloody conflict and basically bombed Revachol to oblivion, only to take it over and institute a neoliberal moralist regime, okay? The communards lost.
As high.
That is, for the record, Disco Elysium memes, okay? I'm just doing Disco Elysium memes. They're very good. It's so good. It's not a spoiler either. It's like, that's a backstory.
Love you and you Hasanabi.
Okay. Yeah. The Mazovian economics, cross-Mazovian socioeconomics. I didn't hear about this in world history, not surprising from a neoliberal education. Yeah, you didn't hear about Revachol because it's not real. Okay, but won't play it on stream though. I'm getting closer and closer to potentially experimenting with it on stream, okay? Just, you know, I need a little bit of a push. Anyway. Don't care, didn't ask, plus your Seminese. a Seminese supremacist. That's what I am. Okay. Here is the Florida Surgeon General Joseph Ladapo saying that the state is working to unwind the COVID testing psychology the federal government has prioritized.
We're going to be working to unwind the sort of testing psychology that our federal leadership has managed to, unfortunately, get most of the country in over the last.
Yeah, we don't need to test, dude. It's like the testing psychology is silly. I mean, this is quite literally like, if we close our eyes, then COVID can't hurt you. Okay, but instead of like, you know, Ron Death Santa saying it, this is the fucking Surgeon General, dog.
You old man.
Like, this is a doctor saying,
the top of the hour ads.
Fuck it.
Capitalism is a disease. Get well soon. Sweaty less than 3.
Thank you, Hunter Biden's crack for the 10 gifted subs.
Last 2 years, we need to unwind this testing sort of planning and living one's life around testing.
But do we really want that kind of society? I mean, if that's the case, you would have to give up your wealth to contribute to the greater good. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I want to hear your opinion. Of course, dude. It's a silly fucking question. It's a silly, silly question. I'd be willing to part ways with my endless amount of wealth from your point of view, because it looks like ginormous, for much less than fucking communism, dude. Okay? For much, much less. But the problem is, when people ask that question, they mean just me. That's the issue. I mean, I personally part ways with almost more than 50%. Yeah, more than 50% of my yearly revenue willingly and gladly to live in the United States of America in California. Okay? So that already happens. I doubt that. I mean, that literally happens. The amount of revenue that I fucking generate for the state. I don't think most people would do that. It's like the Lives in Cali vote blue, but won't let old people get a home. Yeah, I think that is a problem. Are you telling me that we get global communism if you gave up your $3 billion mansion in 2007 Camry? What the fuck, dude? Yeah. And I'm just refusing to do it. Anyway, I love when a medical authority is, playing the role of a politician and says shit like this. You know, the testing psychology of the Biden administration mandated at the federal level, that doesn't go with the Florida vibes, okay? We might be a ginormous state, but guess what? We got vibes here, okay? And the vibe check is failing right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's failing big time. People are getting tested. We're finding out that they have COVID. That's not good. What's actually a lot better is just not testing at all and, you know, leaving it up to luck.
Without it, we're going to be sort of stuck in the same cycle. So, you know, it's really time for people to be living, to, you know, to make the decisions they want regarding vaccination, to enjoy the fact that many people have natural immunity. We're going to...
Bro, literally everything he said is psychotic. Like, this is a doctor. This is the Floridian Surgeon General, boys. And he basically said, you know, just live, laugh, love, enjoy your moments, okay? And also, don't stress this whole testing shit, okay? They're testing a little too much. We need to dial that back. And also, you know, now you have natural immunity. That's great. That's a cool thing. Again, that natural immunity is inconsistent unless you are vaccinated. Oh, it's effing again. Oh, my Lord. It's effing again. Well, baby F here. The Fs are getting worse now. They're getting longer, okay? That's a bigger F than before.
To be...
No, this is the Surgeon General of Florida, chat. I mean, this is my doctor, dog. I'm gonna die, okay? That's just what it is, all right?
It's for me, baby.
Look at my doctor. I'm gonna get COVID. Straight up, just fucking, you know, saying, hey, it's all good, baby. Oh my God, people are still saying fucking effing. It's effing. Dude, just pause and unpause, dude. It's not that hard, dummies. We've been through this so many fucking times, dude. I'm absolutely permabanning people like this, by the way, for the record. I don't. Anyway, Scoop, some days ago, Chatter told me that 95% German. Oh, wait, what? Does that mean we're getting a blue Florida? No. No, that does not mean we're getting a blue Florida. We're not ever getting... the idea that in America, having like hundreds of thousands of your supporters die from preventable disease because they refuse to get the treatment or the prevention, the idea that that is going to change the electoral outcome or the electoral map in any meaningful capacity is false. Republicans, what do I always say? Republicans do not win elections because there are more Republicans out there that want to vote rather than Democrats. They do not win elections on policy positions that are better overall than the Democratic side. They win elections by cheating. They game the system. Okay? If you play to the refs instead of playing to the fucking crowd or playing by the rules, you're going to win. And that's precisely what they do. Okay? Anyway, let's continue. Freedom is messy, but it improves everything. Jordan Peterson talking to friend of the show, Daniel Jebediah Crenshaw.
One of our challenges is convincing people that freedom is actually a good thing, not libertine freedom. I mean,
dude, yeah, no, I think everybody always, I'm always saying this. I'm always saying I hate freedom. Fellas, don't you hate freedom? I mean, don't we just fucking hate freedom? It's just like a very common leftist position is hating freedom unconditionally, okay?
I mean, like ordered liberty, freedom.
You will never appear as a bad person or wrong if you simply just make up your, opposition's point of view. At least I, instead of, I don't debate all that much, but I still, at the very least, look at the subject matter, okay? I hear what Republicans are saying. I respond to what they're saying. Republicans, on the other hand, routinely love to just be like, this is what the left believes, which is you cannot be free. Okay?
You know, freedom within a moral framework, which is what makes me a conservative and not a libertarian. It's more difficult than you might think to convince people. Well, I think you understand it. I think it's a conversation you have pretty often. But convincing people that freedom is indeed, even though it's risky and even though it's messy and even though it can allow you to fall on your face sometimes and even induce suffering that you might think is unjust, it still in the aggregate improves things. It improves everything. And it's harder to see that at the moment. And so what people are swept up by is the sort of false promises of immediate action to save something, to fix something, and to take that paternalistic.
This is why he's a loser, by the way. Like, he might end up winning. He might end up winning his incredibly gerrymandered district, but like, this is kind of the reason why he will always lose in the grand scheme of things, because he's like the other side of the Pete Buttigieg coin, where he will engage in the culture war stuff every now and then. But ultimately, he's always like, yeah, you know, immediate action is going to take some time. And no fucking Republican wants to hear that. They want to hear that you will hang people, okay? You will hang Anthony Fauci. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear, pontificating on fucking what it means to be free and shit. That's the point. This, I believe, is not appealing to anyone, okay? The only people that love this shit are already like making podcasts. Every single person that this kind of rhetoric is appealing to already has a podcast. And while that number grows every year, that simply is not enough to win elections, okay?
And so what people are swept up by is the sort of false promises of immediate action to save something, to fix something, and to take that paternalistic government view, that statist view of something. But the thing is, if we actually took a step back and saw the forest for the trees and looked at the long span of history, it is always true that more freedom leads to more prosperity over time, and less of it leads to less, if not complete and utter decay.
Love you, Chat and Hassan.
Well, I think the diversity argument is actually a weird, warped version of that in some sense, because speaking as a scientist, I hope, part of the reason that freedom works is that we don't actually know what problems are going to come up next, because things actually change, and they change in an unpredictable way. And so we have our traditions to guide us, and thank God for that, because we'd be making endless decisions all the
companies at Hasanabi.
I'm confused as to where diversity factors into this. I don't know why he just like dropped that in there. Let's talk about diversity for a second. Speaking as a scientist, isn't that bad too?
Time otherwise, and we would be in complete disunion. That's not a perfect structure for moving ahead into unknown territory. Because things.
So, what's up? Where did that just come from? A lot of people want to hang Fauci for a good reason. Fauci is responsible for funding gain-of-function research. Dude, you are literally a fucking psychopath if you think that, like, no, there is no good reason to want to fucking hang Anthony Fauci. The only reason why you think it's a good reason to want to hang Anthony Fauci is because you've been whipped up into a fucking frenzy by the podcast that you watch, okay? Like, you're making it seem like it's a Nazi experiment to do gain-of-function research. Shut the fuck up, okay? God damn. Like, Anthony Fauci personally fucking enslaved humans and started doing, like, you know, unethical experiments on them. Why he changing that? Everything changes when his last bit was Shapiro saying that a man and women work just like Adam and Eve did. It's malleable, boys. That's what it is. Okay? The pushest uni on earth, maybe
There's
later.
a kind of a...
All right, we'll fucking do that. Yeah, we've already watched this, I think. I think we've seen this. I mean, oh, here is the Anthony Fauci fucking meme, by the way. They've gone off the rails. Republicans have gone off the rails. Here it is. From goalposts, no masks, vaccine, lockdowns, 2 masks, time to change the rules again, 2 lampposts. And he's basically fucking stating, you know, it's time to... He's saying that. He's saying the thing that other chatter was like, so it was just bringing it up. The full comic. Ben Garrison. Ben ponders the future. Increased nose rape. Dude, I hate when I get a vaccine, which I call jab rape. Like anytime your skin or anytime one of your orifices are penetrated for a medical procedure, that's rape. Also, all the times when actual rape happens, that's not rape. That's that's something that we can debate on. Fucking bananas, dude. In the minds of Republicans, everything but the actual act of rape is rape. Ben Ponders the future, Pfizer, the permavax. How dare you? Climate continues to change. As in, like, that's just seasons. You know, we're too stupid to understand that it's just seasons, but Ben has figured it out. Fauci goes from goalpost to lamppost, and then he says Hillary takes over. They're still talking about Hillary taking over the country, bro. That's awesome.